So today is looking with love. And I tell you, looking with love is so interesting. I've been talking to my son off and on this week. He is not traveling this week. He travels quite a bit, so for some reason we've been able to chat more on the phone. And I realized I was in the grocery store and I thought, you know, I really want to send him a card because we talk on the phone. We do it cam to cam and do all that. So I stopped and I bought this card because it's not his birthday, it's not Father's Day, it's not anything. And it says, if you open this card just right, we will tell you the secret of life. And I thought, you know, we all want to know that question. We all show up at this church thinking that it's going to be revealed because it's a big secret. So, if you open this card just right, it says, you were so fast. Now, open slow. Try it again, try it again. Slower. I like that because I tend to go fast. So that's my joy for the day. So, looking with love. So when we look at life with love, it just opens us up to all kinds of possibilities. And it fits in with the theme for the month, Seeing with the Perfect Vision of God, and the affirmation which you already did. And you know how I like Rumi, and some other people have said that they enjoy Rumi too. So this month's daily guides, if you've been reading them, I've just peppered with Rumi's sayings, and so I've used them liberally through this talk today. And I opened up with, the Eternal looked upon me for a moment with his eye of power and annihilated me in his being and became manifest to me in his essence. I saw I existed through him. And I picked this, it reminded me of Rumi, this lamp in the dance, and it's kind of like the light. And that's what really we're talking about today, is you already are made from love. And it's just that we forget it. And when we're looking at life, we sometimes look at life through other filters where we forget to look with love. And so the light is held up there as a beacon, a light of awareness, to make us aware that we too can become aware of our presence in the divine. So how are you looking? And as Rumi said, your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find out the barriers within yourself you have built against it. And I was looking on Facebook a couple of days ago, and there was a Dharma reading, and it had this painting. And I picked it. I thought, wow, that's so great, because it says our life experiences to build layer upon layers and become who we are in this present moment. Those experiences guide us towards who we will become sometime in the future. And that's how I think we are looking. We are looking through our past experiences. One of our intentions is to release the past and look and be in the present moment. But it's got to be the most difficult challenge as human beings that we have. Every day when we wake up, we kind of start all over. We're like Groundhog Day, the movie. We're starting each day over, and we get a chance to revisit it. And when I picked this particular painting off of there, I liked it because here's like the nucleus. That's our beginning. And as we evolve through life and we go on the journey of life, all these things come into us that happen to us, and they color our perception of who we are. And then when we get to where we are in the present moment, what I saw, I don't see them clear right here, but they look like images. Like that looks like an image to me of an individual. That could be an image, that could be an image, and that could be an image. And what I really thought about is that is really the truth of how we look, how we're looking. We're not one person. You know, like, who are you? When you ask that question, how would you define yourself? Well, it depends on how you're feeling. What's happening to you? Where you are in this moment, where you are in this day, where you are wherever. What we do is we look from the color of our experiences, and it's quite often who we're in relationship with. And I don't mean in long-term relationship, I mean relationship in the moment. Because we adjust. We adjust. We're not static human beings. We're not this one person who shows up. I don't show up as me today in the morning or even at this present moment. And that's not who I'm going to be 3 hours from now. When I'm with different people, I'm different. And I just want to have us recognize that. Because when we realize that we're not static, we can know that we can adjust. We know that we can change. We know that we can alter how we are looking and how we are looking at life. And as our founder, Ernest Holmes, says, we must first clarify our own vision, and then we shall become as lights lighting the way for others. When we get clear about ourselves and we give up the judgment that we have, and it starts with ourselves. We judge how we should show up. We judge how we appear. And then we judge others for judging us. So we judge them, they judge us. It's a game. It's a game that you play, and it's an invitation to release. Release and let go of that. And live the life out of love for you. So I also saw this, and I don't even know where I saw it, but I liked it, so I picked it. We learn wisdom, Confucius said, first by reflection, which is noblest, second by imitation, which is easiest, and third by experience, which is bittersweet. Oh, I said bittersweet. But bitterest is right, Carol. But isn't it true? There are those 3 different ways that we can learn. And I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, yes, it's true, because sometimes when I'm in my moments of contemplation, then I have an aha moment. I have that moment that I think, oh, upon reflection, yes, it's an awareness. And that's almost like spiritual and sacred, you know. It's an aha moment upon reflection. And then there is this set by imitation. You know, and I was thinking about that when I was talking about somebody who is a Christian. I was talking about, we were sharing our beliefs about Jesus. And what I found out is this person was a First Baptist, and their belief about Jesus is really no different than mine. They also shared that they saw Jesus as a way shower, as somebody who came here to show the way of how we could be. And I said, that's what we believe. That's absolutely what we believe. And I said, our only possible difference is we don't believe that we need Jesus for our salvation. That we can have the awakening and the awareness within ourselves. But then the third is by experience, which is the bitterest. And I thought about that. I thought, you know, that's really true for me. At the very heights of my joy, when I call it bliss, when I am so blissed out I can barely stay in my body, I usually have that moment in which I realize the connection with God, with the divine that I am. And there's so much joy around that, and it shows up in different ways. And then there is also the emotions that are driven by pain and hurt. And I thought, wow, there's even awareness and wisdom in those moments. So what I thought about it is, really what it is, it's the yin and yang of wisdom, whether it's of emotions, whether it is joy or pain. What it is it's when our emotions are fully alive and we're fully engaged, then there's an awareness that can come forth. And we become aware of who we are. And then the invitation is to look with love. So Ernest Holmes said, the self we see is what man has thought about himself. The form he is molded from his thought. And that's, I also picked this particular thing. These are two people on a tower, and I was pretending they were the same person. Forget that that one person's wearing a skirt. They're both unisex individuals, because for me, they're both the same. They're really the way we see ourselves between when we're in the dark and when we're in the light. And we have that opportunity, and notice how the hands are stretched out. The one in the light, that side of us, that inner part of us, if we were to communicate with God and touch that part of us which is divine within us, that part of us is reaching out to us. The unhealed part of us, that unhealed part of us which is still in the dark and doesn't understand its connection. But we're all the same. We're all the same persons. And I liked this reading in the Science of Mind a couple of days ago. And I suppose I liked it, it first caught my attention because a wave in the ocean of God, it sounds so full of Rumi, because Rumi has this thing that we are but like a drop of ocean in the drop of ocean of God. We are this one drop, and yet we are not all that God is, but all that we are is God. And so what I liked in here, he says, this was on Friday, August 17th, which was only a few days ago. He said, I overheard a conversation the other day, and you no doubt have also heard something similar. What happens to me is not my fault. This is a conversation. Somebody says, what happens to me is not my fault. I am not a happy person, but who is? I can't stand most people. I don't like judgmental people or people who have to be right. I have very little tolerance for people who complain, so don't start. It's really hard to find people I can trust, and it doesn't surprise me since most people aren't to be trusted. Everyone I meet is selfish and self-absorbed. They say pessimism has reached academic levels. I think pessimistic people are just being realistic. And then he goes on to share this conversation he overheard with, I met one of those so-called spiritual people yesterday. What a trip. The guy acted like the world was a wonderful place to live in and that living life was a very special privilege. I could not help wondering what rock he had climbed out from under. Imagine someone sitting across from you telling you that God is love, and that evidence of God is also love, and that love can be seen, felt, and experienced everywhere. Imagine anyone thinking that we are all valuable and that there are no extra people, and that people are like waves in the ocean of God, all connected, all special. All I can say is, be careful who you talk to. Maybe I'm crazy, but he really was interesting. Now, the reason I wanted to share that with you, and I read it because I wanted to get the essence of it, because there was a part of it that spoke to me along the way. I don't know if any parts of those spoke to you, but if they have, or maybe they will later when you'll hear this, it may call it up in your mind. But we tend to do that. And sometimes our shadow side, that side of us which is really the side that we don't want to recognize, and we try and keep stuffed down in a way because it's unhealed and we don't think it should see the light of day, then it is being recognized and called up. Because the only way it can be healed is to step into the light. So don't push your shadow side down. If your shadow side is the one who fits into any of these comments that complains as pessimistic, don't stifle it. That reminded me of Archie Bunker. Don't stifle it. Let it come up. Let it come up into a live awareness. So are you willing to change your vision? Ernest Holmes said, refuse to carry the corpse of a mistaken yesterday. Let it go. Let it go. You know, sometimes The hardest journey is the journey of forgiveness. Because the forgiveness is when we let go of hurt and anger. And we forgive somebody and we release it. And we no longer have to be right. We no longer demand a retribution. I was reading yesterday, I was in Barnes & Noble in the afternoon. I went and looked at some property yesterday for the church, and I'll share that in about a month from now. Anyway, and so I ended up at Barnes & Noble, and I'm reading. They have a huge book, and they have comfortable chairs, and one was empty, so I parked in it for a while, and I read about the history of religion from back 500 BC. And read it through, and I realized, as you watched it, it had maps and of pretty much around the Mediterranean Sea and those areas like that, and it showed how religions changed and moved and protected. And what I was so struck about is there was so much violence in the expansion of religion. It was like there wasn't all this love. Even in the early Christians, there wasn't love. They were hunted down like animals. But then the Christians did the same thing to the Gnostics and other people. And then there was war between my God is bigger than your God and all of that. And what I realized is that they kind of lost sight of it. Or it appeared to me from a person who knew it. And part of my message today is don't lose sight of who you are. See life, love life, because you came from love. You are love. We just forget, like that early painting, because we have swirled on all these different colors, and we forget who we truly are. We are the Picasso. But you know who you are. And you know that at points in your life and points in your day, you can anchor in and touch in the divine. And Rumi says, this is love, to fly towards a secret sky, to cause 100 veils to fall each moment, first to let go of life, finally to step a step without feet. That's all part of the journey that we're on, this journey of awareness. And when we do that, we pierce this veil. We look through, and it's revealed to us. And there's nothing cosmic about that. You don't have to be anointed. You don't have to be saved. You just have to be you. You just have to let go of your attachment and open up to this love that you are. And Rumi said, when weakness is cleared from your heart, your prayers will reach the glorious Lord. And there really is no place to reach other than within yourself. Those that you heard me talk this morning when I first came up here about my meditation this morning. My meditation, I was doing what I call a third eye meditation, and it's about really focusing on the third eye, and mine just starts to vibrate, and I'm not advocating chakras or anything like that. I'm just saying that happened to be a technique I use. And I was really so far out there. But what it does is it takes me out of my everyday experience, and that's the invitation to you, is don't forget that meditation is a spiritual tool that you can use at any time to connect, reconnect, and remember who you are. When you're having the day that sounded like the things in here and that I read to you, when you're having that kind of a day, remember, God is but a whisper away, a walk into the silence. And you can do that when you're parked at a stoplight, waiting for the 10 cars that are in front of you to go through the light, because it's going to take another light. Just take that moment and just go within. Don't close your eyes because you're around behind the wheel. But just go within and connect in that silence who you are. So it's looking with love. Rumi says, everyone sees with the unseen in proportion to the clarity of your heart, and that depends on how much he has polished it. Whoever has polished it more, seen than form, become manifest to him. And to me, what that says is, the more we open up with our heart, the more we are ready to open up and feel love. And we feel love by giving love out, because like attracts like, love attracts love. I was reminded recently, I looked at a baby on the internet, and this baby was like a year, 6 months old. It was so beautiful, but it was so peaceful, and it was like, wow, so loving. And when you look at somebody like that, and your heart opens up, and you know that that's the love, why can we not look at other human beings who are adults with that kind of love? Why can we not believe that God as love exists within each of us, within our neighbors, within the person who is in front of us at the grocery line or the bank line or at a gas station? It's a chance to practice our givingness of love. And when we go there with love, we attract love back in. And as Ernest Holmes said, we comprehend the infinite only to the degree that it expresses itself through us, becoming to us that which we believe it to be. It's an inside job, folks. As I said last week, the white knight you have been waiting for is you. I shouldn't say white knight, I should say shining knight in armor. And maybe it's Joan of Arc. The temple of love is not love itself. True love is the treasure, not the walls around it. Love cannot be contained. So, you have wings. Learn to use them and fly. And then know that you are complete within yourself. You are perfect within yourself. You are happy and satisfied with yourself. Thank you. So let's pray. Going within right now. I connect with that divine presence within me, that center of who I am in the very heart of love. That which breathes me is this source, which God is my source. All that there is love. As I know this truth for myself, I know this truth for each and every person here, each and every person in this community, each and every person in Midland and beyond. I know this basic truth. And what I know is I step forward this day, this week, looking at life with love, looking at my neighbors, looking at the people I engage with this open heart, this undefended heart that says yes to life, yes to love. I know this life is good. I know it is a reciprocating universe, and I give great thanks for this and so much more. I bless each and every one here. I know that we go forth with smiles on our face, which are met with more smiles coming back, for we see the God in each other. We see the namaste. And for this and so much more, I am so grateful with this heart that overflows with love. I release my words into law, for I know that they're already done. And we anchor it by saying together,